we're going to try out something a little different today, because this video is going to have a little bit of a challenge to it, and it's got a theme that I'm going to try and challenge some of these other Black Clover YouTubers to join up in. And it's an easy yet very fun kind of idea that I don't know if it'll catch on, but I'll pester people until they, make a short video on it saying, hey, Rex kept bugging me to do this, so I decided to do it. So this is just going to really briefly on each of them. I want to go over some characters that I believe are Arcane stage within, with all the stages groups in Black Clover right now, and characters who I want to become Arcane stage, to be, evolve into it, to become more powerful, and their magic just blossoms into this higher tier. So I'll give like a short, brief amount of summary. I'm sorry if it's loud in the background. My cat's in a paper bag. Anyway, I want to give each of them like a brief summary of why I think they either are and why I want them to be. The first one is somebody who I think absolutely is Arcane stage, and absolutely is, and that is Rades. And I decided to switch to Rades because I was getting bullied for saying Radis, but Rades, his magic is, I've expressed it before, I think he has the highest potential of any character in the series. Absolutely higher than anybody in the series, because his magic in reality is the most broken. You have someone, you got time magic, you got light magic, you got fate manipulation, you got all these different abilities. Really, once these characters die, Rades can take them. As long as there's a corpse, he can create a zombie, and we don't know if it's like 50, you only get 50% of what they were when they're alive, or if it's exact same, or whatever it is, regardless of what you have them. And when he had, was it Michael Caesar, he can, Frankenstein up the bodies to have two magics in one corpse and one zombie, which is broken in and of itself. So legitimately, he can become the most powerful character in the series. Like I've mentioned before, if he ends up finding out like where all of the other Wizard Kings are buried, bam, he's got, 20 plus zombies, Wizard King level, that he's got strutting around. On top of that, if you manage to kill him, unless you destroy his body, he can just automatically come back to life. And third, just on top of all that, if you go back and notice and look, he has true magic. He got true magic before we saw gotcha with it, before it really kind of got explained further of what exactly it was. He had true magic. So that, on top of everything, just shows his level of flexibility of his powers, but also the level that it's evolved to. So I do in fact think that he's Arcane stage, and out of all the characters we haven't got confirmed yet, I think he is the most likely one, and I'm gonna stand by this until otherwise that confirmed or denied within the canon of the series. Another character that I think is Arcane at the moment, and easy, very quick, brief way to go in, and that's Vanessa. Vanessa's magic is very powerful. Her fate manipulation, it's not like, she can just fully change history or change events that happen at will. We know how it works. It has to be to where, somebody close to where they're in danger and they would die. And it's not like, oh, I changed the event, so instead of the opponent, chopping off your head, they trip and chop off their own. It's like a redo. It goes back shortly and then alters the event slightly, but it's nothing like outrageously ridiculous. It is, like I said, a redo. It's limited, but it's still very good. Even if it never becomes anything more than what it is, if Vanessa never evolves her character or any of her abilities, she stays exactly how she is right now for the rest of the series, it's still one of the better support powers, period, in the series. If not the best support power, because it straight gives you a redo. Unless you did something like you canceled out Rouge, or you prevented her from summoning him in the first place, then you're always gonna have to deal with that dangerous thing of they can have a redo and figure out whatever your trump card is, whatever their secrets to your powers in said redo. So she's got a really good power just in general. Up next, I'm gonna go the three that I want to evolve into becoming Arcane stages, and I'll give descriptions of why I think each of them will, in my opinion, should be. So the first one up, Marts. Marts is not only a really, from early on character, from all the way back to the dungeon arc, but he was also a very overwhelming force that we got displayed. Because not only does he have very powerful diamond magic, he's also got powerful flame magic from his whole patchwork grimoire between how it was mixed with his Infanas. And the thing that makes it more scary, it's not just oh, I have two elements. It's, I have the, sharpness, the ferocity, the fortitude of diamonds, but also I have the healing of the fire magic, which in my opinion makes him the most dangerous. Well, not the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous characters, because in reality, when you're fighting him, if something happens, you get in that close kill, and cool, he then decides, okay, I'm just gonna diamond shield up all over the place, send out clones, Phoenix robe on myself, and heal myself back up until he runs out of magic. He's a very formidable character, and we don't know how far it'll evolve, because him and Fauna, their grimoires are very unique in the series. We don't know how many characters have these patchwork grimoires, but his could easily like evolve into like a merge of fire and diamond, some form of like weird, I don't know, like molten crystal, which actually sounds really cool. But at the same time, when you think about that, actually, I'm thinking more of like using the light from fire, you know, and like putting it through the diamond to create like a laser. That would be pretty sick. Like put it through a prism, and then just like it's like the light. What we saw back in when Elf Gauche and Elf Mary ended up putting the light through the disco ball, and then, you know, had all the reflections. Just imagine that, but instead it's like energy beams. That'd be pretty sick. Next up, somebody who, I mean, it's not surprising he's on my list, and that's Zora. Zora has one of the more interesting magics in the series, I think, because his is more laced around prep time. His is more based around how he can get everything set up before going into the fight. And we don't know the full extent of his, you know, his abilities of reflection and stuff, but what we can very easily just look at is during the whole fight when Leopold was fighting the elves, any of those elves, and, you know, could probably one-shot Zora. I mean, they were very powerful already. Zora can contend with them, but it's just because of the way his magic works, but we know that each of them should be able to straight, you know, mop the floor with him in a 1v1 fight where he's not prepped. And he ended up taking an attack that was all 5 of them at once, doubled it back, had that come back to him, and then quad it back. So his reflection abilities are at least, you know, up to 20 times of what his own capabilities are, which is really impressive. Obviously, he needs to get the thing off in time, but still, it shows that his power has a lot of, like, their limitations are way beyond what his level is at. It all just depends on if he's able to get the right glyphs out in time, able to get those magic circles and etchings all placed within a hasteful manner. And it's because of that, you know, really dangerous magic, you know, the fact that he can, you know, put it on himself. Yeah, you know, they're seemingly invisible until you step on him. It's a really good one. It's a complicated magic as well, we found out when, you know, dealing with the elves. We don't know, again, we don't know where he sits, but he's right now, like, I would assume he's maybe like in the upper tiers, maybe like somewhere like 1 or 2. But it wouldn't surprise me if he evolves up and eventually becomes Arcane, because I think that his is definitely one of the better magics in the series as just a singular thing. Just because it seems as long as he gets it all set up in time, as long as he's able to, you know, outthink his opponent, how he's able to strategize, then it doesn't come down to a terms of how much more powerful his opponent is. It's how much he can be prepared going into the fight. And then lastly is one that's, it's like one that I don't have a lot of reasoning, it's more of hope. And that's Leopold. So Leopold is a weird character because he was introduced very early. It was right at the start of the whole like invasion of the capital from the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Yeah, both his siblings are very powerful. You know, he announces himself as Asta's rival, but he never really got to do anything, but it looks like he's going to be a lot more prominent now in the series. Here's what my hopes are. I personally would like him to be more powerful than Fuego Leon or Leone. And the reason that is, one, I think he deserves it for, you know, just the fact it's, you know, almost 250 chapters into this series and he hasn't really done anything. But also being part of Asta's generation, I think that he'll be pushed the furthest given like the people around him when you have all these other really powerful characters that he's gonna want to keep up with, you know, Asta, Noelle, and you know, Luck even as well, and he's gonna want to progress beyond that. I mean, there were other characters that I could kind of put into this idea of somebody who I think deserves it. And obviously I would probably otherwise pick someone like Magna, but Leopold I think definitely deserves it most, and especially because he's got the potential to evolve really high. But on top of that, you know, like I said, placement of, you know, his spot with the main character. He wants to be a rival to him, but he never really got the chance. But I don't know. Either way, this video, I was aiming for like 6 or 7 minutes. I'm going to try and wrap it up. I don't know. Other than that, comment below. Tell me what ones you think are Arcane and what ones you want to be Arcane. Who you want to be could be anybody, but you know, the ones obviously is who you think you are currently has to be at least measured up with some form of logic. I think Brady's is, in my opinion, the most likely one to be revealed as an Arcane that we don't already know of, just because of how powerful his magic is. I think like it, you know, it's gonna be part of the reason why he only has, you know, the one double-sided page is how broken he is. But at the same time, I think it'd be a nice justice to him and how, you know, poorly he was treated. But anyway, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this whole thing and how you think that things are going to go on and what you kind of want to see, like I said. And like I said, also, if you made it to the end, see if you can get any other Black Clover YouTubers that you watch to maybe, they don't even have to watch this video. Just say, hey, Rex is challenging other Black Clover people to say, you know, who did they think is Arcane right now and who do they want to be Arcane. But other than that, like I said, comment below, thumbs up the video, but from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. I thank you all for listening. Bye.